Hi everyone, it's Amy and I'm back with another episode of Vintage Made Modern. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 6, which is a thimble full of friendliness. And this chapter opens with actually the summer spread. So the book is divided by seasons too. And those seasons, remember, have little pockets attached. So in June, we talk about friendship and neighbors. What kind of neighbor are you is the essay by Mary Brooks Picken. And then we're going to move on and you'll see some beautiful graphics, including the embroidery here, elements that we've colorized that were originally black and white, neighbors talking over the white picket fence, and then we move on to summer hospitality. And this essay talks about how summer is the perfect time to meet up with friends on your front porch, maybe try some knitting, try some sewing, share a glass of iced tea. And then we move on to the Department of Housekeeping. And when I read this little essay about porch settings for summer, there was a little article about color schemes. And what caught my attention was the color scheme number 2, which has a rag rug. This is color schemes for porch furnishings. It has a rag rug, black furniture, and yellow and white check gingham. And so when I was thinking about this, I thought, wait a minute, we have done a lot with gingham lately at Indygo Junction. So I wanted to share a little bit about gingham today and then share some of the projects that we've made with gingham. So let's start out with a little pincushion pattern that we did a while back. We'll start out with the smaller gingham, the tinier check. And so this is the pattern that is called Patchwork Pincushions. And I grabbed the samples and you'll see there's a strawberry and a pear pincushion that are part of this pattern. And I love what we did with the black pins to look like seeds on the strawberry. So you can see the patchwork in the gingham, but then you can see how much fun you can have creating the seeds and making this just a charming little pincushion. What a great gift for a friend, maybe that loves to sew, or maybe a friend that loves to preserve strawberries. So you have the pear, you have the strawberry, and then of course, with pincushions, we know that the tomato always had the strawberry that was the emery for sharpening your needle, right? So there's, and quickly, this little strawberry even has a tape measure attached. How fun is that? So I'm going to put this one back and show you the little strawberry that's also a part of this pattern. So this is the Patchwork Pincushions. All right, what else do we have made in gingham? Well, you can see next to me that there's a dress, and you can see the scale here on this gingham or check is quite large. What I'm going to do is also show you an example of what gingham is. There's 2 different options, at least on the market today, that I have seen with gingham. So you have either your yarn dyed gingham, where you'll have really 2 right sides. You do want to be careful when you're cutting anything that you use one side as the right side, but essentially this is a reversible fabric. And this, I love this yellow check. And this is a great scale for garments too, you can imagine. And then the other option sometimes that's out there is a printed gingham design. And that would be an example here of this kind of periwinkle color. And this was actually part of my Vintage Made Modern Stitcher's Garden fabric line I did a few years ago. In this case, the pattern and the color is printed on. It is not actually in the yarns of the fabric. So if that explains to you what yarn dyed is. So I wanted to tell you a little more about gingham. And I have some great vintage inspiration related to advertisements on gingham. And we recently did a blog post on gingham that you'll find at indygojunction.com. So keep that in mind. All right, we've talked a little bit about gingham, and that reminds me, I forgot one thing. I have a wonderful pillow made in gingham, and this is the yellow check gingham that was then smocked into this beautiful piece. And I actually believe this was one of the Women's Institute projects back in the day. So isn't that magnificent? And I love the little black running stitch around the edge. So another example of gingham for you. What else is in this chapter that talks about textiles and gingham or textiles and fabric? I love embroidery, as you know. That's one of the other areas of product development that we do at Indygo Junction. And so you'll see here an article called, in the instruction department, Simple Embroideries for the Porch. And this whole article takes you through various ideas of design elements that can be added to cushions, to table linens for the porch or for the home, or even on the canvas on the back of a chair that maybe has a fabric insert. So this is just another example of some gorgeous graphics that will inspire you to sew and stitch and really beautify your porch. And then we've got the Department of Cookery. And this article talks a little bit about some of those summer delicious cool drinks that you could serve on your porch. And again, we're back to gingham. I scanned a piece of gingham that is in the background on this page. Moving on, we have dresses for the home and garden, and those were appropriately called frocks. And I have one little quote I might read to you. It is such a delight to slip into a cool, dainty summer frock, for the fashions for summer are delightfully simple, and summer materials are so easy to work with. And that was Alice Stone from the membership department at the Women's Institute. All right, let's keep moving along and let's talk magic patterns. We have the summer purse, and I have 2 samples of that to show you today. The first one I'm going to show you has actually a band on the back that allows you to hold this little clutch, we'll call it. And what I'm going to do is put my hand through it. Can't really do it backwards, can I, very easily? So here you go. You can go ahead and make the band and have it be a little clutch, or a way that you could actually carry your bag like this. And we have a cute little button closure. And, oh, I had forgotten the pattern in the book actually also gives you a little pattern for making a teeny weeny little coin purse. So you can imagine that this was a nice little extra surprise in there. Now, I'm going to show you one more that we made. And this one is made gorgeous fabric. And we used a mother of pearl button. You can see here, we found a mother of pearl. It's nice to have a button here with a shank on the back. You could also maybe make a covered button and then use that and coordinate that. But this mother of pearl is just, I'm going to open it so you can really see the detail in the engraving on that mother of pearl button and how pretty the vintage button is with the modern looking fabric, still with a little vintage twist. And the lining, how interesting that is. And then we just used a bias trim to not only trim it, but also to make our loop for the closure. And this one, we did not add the back band, I'll call it, that we had on the other one. This one, you could go ahead and add a strap, perfect size for running around, cell phone, glasses, etc. So that's the summer purse. And I will say we do have some other Indygo Junction purse patterns that work well with it, that are about this size and style. And the one I wanted to share with you, I'm just going to share with you the pattern cover, is this one that's called the Mad Money Mini Bag. And we did it in quilted fabric. We used another print that I think is just gorgeous. I think those are both tulip pink prints that you see there. And this was our Mad Money Mini Bag pattern. All right, well, I think that I've covered everything that we've talked about in this chapter. Again, this was chapter number 6, and I hope you'll come back and join me again for Vintage Made Modern. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and look for all the links in the description to help you find the patterns I've shared with you and learn about fabrics, our blog, and more.